You are listening to the Dr.Grande podcast. Another episode begins right now. And another warm welcome to you. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Happy New Year's. Welcome 2022. Can you guys believe we're in another year? I mean, I'm just not used to writing or saying 2022. How about you? I just can't believe we're another year down in the books. We hit our second year anniversary December 9th, 2021, and we're going on our third year. And I know you're probably like, oh God, here's another year. Another year of uncertainty, another year of chaos, another year of COVID-19. But I gotta tell you something. I gotta be honest with you. Something feels very good about this year. I feel very optimistic about this year. I feel very good about this year. I'm actually excited for this year. I'm done with being in Debbie Downer. I'm done being in the dumps. I'm done being scared of coronavirus because let's just face it, it's tired, and now we have a new morphing of COVID-19. But I think that this year is going to be a great year, and I'm going to tell you why. And my goal is to maybe, bring some positivity, some optimism to you to show that this year can be a good year. And why the hell not make the decision, make the choice, the conscious decision, the conscious choice to make this year a great year. Some of you, you're looking at your New Year's resolutions. You're like, oh, well, I didn't do it this year, so I'm not going to try to do it this year. Or I didn't, and you're trying to think about what's this year, and hopefully you're thinking about it. If you haven't thought about it, I'd encourage you to think, what does this year mean to you and what you want to get out of it? But let me just encourage you that, and just maybe make a commitment, make a promise to yourself that this year's going to be a different year. This is going to be your year. Despite all the worldly influences going on and all the uncertainty, you're going to declare and make a commitment to yourself to make 2022 a great year. Because despite all the chaos and stuff like that, there's only one person who can write the story of your life, and that's you. You can allow other people to influence you, what you write. You can allow other people to write your story for you, or you could take sole responsibility and full ownership of your life and write your own story. So, this year I considering another endeavor. I'm not leaving streaming. I'm not leaving the podcast. This is my primary focus. But I also wanted to get into some investments, and part of that is with investment into real estate. And it's not that I'm saying that to brag, but what I am saying is that I'm looking for opportunities and stuff like that. And that was something I never would have crossed my mind. Okay, it never would have just allowed me to pick that. And I thought it was just an idea, but it was not going to ever happen. And see, that's what happens with a lot of people. It's not hard to think of good ideas of what they want in life. If I asked you, what do you want this year? You could probably tell me. If I said, what will make you happy this year? You would probably say blah, 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 Doc. Well, you wouldn't say blah, 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 but you would tell me, nonetheless, you would tell me what you want, right? And most of you guys know it. And it's okay if you don't. It's worth thinking about and diving into, but you would have some sense of idea of where you would want to be this year. What are your goals? Where do you want to be in life? Not even just this year in life. But the sad reality is that a lot of people have those ideas, but they never accomplish it. And the reason they can't accomplish it is not because of reasons they think they couldn't accomplish it. A lot of people get Debbie Downer and they think, oh, I can't do it because I don't have money. I don't have the right car. I don't have the right last name. I don't have what my neighbor has. I don't have the talent that you have, or whatever. They talk themselves out of it. But even more than that, they don't allow themselves to take the first step. And a lot of people don't take the first step. That's the hardest thing, is just to take that first step. And I know, as someone who has a lot of ideas and I would consider myself very ambitious, it's hard to take that step. Especially when there's a lot of uncertainty. You want to have everything, like for me, I will always want to have everything figured out. All the whys, hows, and whats, and all the equipment and stuff. But I've come to learn that if you're waiting for the stars to align, if you're waiting for things just to magically appear in your favor and work out, it doesn't work that way. It won't work that way. There's no perfect time that's going to just, like, the stars are going to be aligned, that you're just going to be like, you take your first step now. That doesn't happen. But what I also want to encourage you not to do is not to talk yourself out and prevent you from taking that first step. I mean, one thing's for certain, if you do not take your first step, you're for certain not going to reach your goals. You're for certain not going to hit where the marks that you want to hit and be where you end up where you want to be. It's not going to happen. Because you have to make it happen. In order to, the transition period between ideas and reality is action. You have to take massive action and put those ideas and put things into actions to make them realities, to make them become a part of your world, your life. And, I know the last 2 years were crazy, especially 2021 was crazy as well. But let me just encourage you not to try to drag all negativity, all pain, all hurt, all something someone said beginning of last year into this year. Let's approach 2022 with a new mindset, with a fresh mind, with an open mind of opportunities and things are going like that and going into it. Like I told you, I thought that the real estate thing would be just an idea. I always thought about it, I always consider it, but I dared to take a step. I dared to ask for help. I dared to inquire for information. And boy, oh boy, was it met with such optimism, so much resources and knowledge at my disposal that made me go, this is something worth pursuing. And just like me, who had the idea in mind, I took that step of faith, I took that step of action just even to find information regarding real estate, regarding, things about it and things I would want to do inside of it, led me to making it a viable plan. And some of you sit here, you're listening to me, you're watching this right now on YouTube maybe, I don't know, but you're sitting there with ideas and all you have to do is pick up the phone, talk to somebody about it, inquire information, consult Google. Don't just let it live in your head. Get information. Talk to people. There are great resources out there that can help you take that first step, that initial step. And sometimes the initial step is just getting information to talk to somebody. And sometimes they're like, I don't want to burden somebody. I don't want to like trouble somebody. I don't want to bother somebody. I don't want to look like an idiot in front of somebody. What do you have to lose? Really, what do you have to lose? You have everything to gain and nothing to lose. So can you commit with me, but more importantly for yourself, that you're going to dedicate this year as being a positive year, a productive year? And some of you might be going, Doc, you don't know what my year was like. It was torture. It was hell. It was the worst year ever. How am I possibly going to be positive? You are your own key. You are your own answer, and you can make that change. It's hard. Change is hard sometimes. Creating new habits to right wrong habits is hard, but it's possible. And I'm not trying to, wave a magic wand saying everything's going to be easy. 2022 is magical. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that with the right motivation, the right influences, you can change the course of your year for 2022. Or if you're listening to this in the future, insert whatever year that you're listening to this in. One thing I did is that I took my music playlist, and a lot of you who watch the stream who know me know I love music, and I 90% of the time have music around me when I'm in the car, whatever. I love music. But what I did is I seriously went through a wipe of my music, and I took any sad song, any song that brought up sad emotions, negative emotions, like kind of like I'm zoning out emotions, and I got rid of it. I deleted it like a bad habit. And I only have songs in my playlist that are uplifting, motivating, get me, that I could turn on when I'm feeling blue, to get me fired up, motivated, encouraged to keep going down the path that I have set out for myself for 2022. And believe me, I'm going to there's going to be on our YouTube channel, if you're not connected already, there's going to be some great videos where I'm going to tell you some in detailed plans, and I'll share with you here in podcast, but the videos are going to kind of go more in depth in certain avenues. And again, it's not just me saying this, I'm optimistic by 2022. I want you to be optimistic by 2022, but I want to help us grow and ensure that 2022 is going to be a good year. Remember, it's not just about me, it's about the community. It's about you guys, and I do care about you guys, each of you guys, whether you guys watch me on stream or not, whether you just watch the podcast or not. I care about you guys, and it's for the community, and I think we owe it to ourselves to have a great year. I mean, I was streaming earlier today, and Drake Raiden, who is a awesome VIP member, he's an artist. I didn't know about that. He shared it in the chat that he draws, and I asked him to share his work on our Discord server, and he shared 3 amazing drawings. I can't draw like this, but amazing drawings. And he shared it in the Discord, and I love to see that kind of stuff. I love to know what you guys are doing, what you guys are into, because I care about you guys. And I care about you guys because I want you to succeed, and I want to ensure that you succeed. And I want to provide any resources or conversations or whatever I can to help you. And I don't claim to have all the answers, but I share my experience. And if you want to share your experience, please. This is an open table, open discussion. Maybe you'll be on here one day, we don't know. But one thing's for certain, you got to have a plan. You got to have a purpose. You got to say 2022, my purpose in 2022 is blah. And I can't tell you what that is. You have to figure that out for yourself. But it's worth listening to or thinking about, listening to others' ideas and making a plan. And so, like I said, I inquired about the real estate. I was met with great optimism. The person I was talking to gave me such encouragement that it would be a good fit. It would gave me some resources, gave me a book, put me in contact with other people. I just asked the question, and it opened the door into something I didn't even think it would be possible. And I'm saying you can do that too. You know what door you want to open. You know what avenue you want to go down. You know what person you need to talk to, what question you need to ask. Why don't you do it? Let's get out of the fantasy world. Let's get out of our heads all this wonderful stuff, and let's put that into the world. Put that into existence. And some of you probably going, "Whoa, Doc, you're very fired up." Yeah, I'm fired up because I'm determined to have a great year. I'm determined to be successful this year. Success is not just my duty, my job. It's my obligation to not only myself, but to my family, my friends, everybody, to you, the community, to the podcast, to the stream, and anything we do. That's how committed I'm. And you don't have to be as ambitious as I am. Don't let my ambitious intimidate you. But you can just start with small things too. Small things like if you want to get your love life in order, if you want to get your career in order, if you want to get your education in order, that's a great place to start. And I'm just saying, let's start. And if there's questions, ideas, you want to bounce ideas, send them my way, please. I'd love to help out. I mean, I'm not, can't give you the final and all be all answer, but I can give you my take on it. I'm not going to give you professional medical advice. I'm not by no means, I'm not a medical doctor. But as someone who's living life, going through life, I can give you my take, my experience, and what I think. But at the end of the day, you have to decide. You have to figure out what's right for you. You have to walk down the right path. And that is very important to do so. I mean, it's fun to play games. It's fun to, hang out with friends and stuff, but you have to do something that matters. Go back to the first podcast where we talk about what are you going to produce. And I talked about my dad's friend who always asked me, what are you going to produce? And for those of you who know what it means, I'm asking you that same question. When are you going to produce? When are you going to live your life the way you want to live? When are you going to be in the career you want to be in? When are you going to be in the lifestyle you want to be in? When are you going to be where you want to be? And a lot of people going, I need all this to do that. And no, you don't. You are your own tool. You are your own key. You have everything you need. You just need to develop. You may not realize you have certain gifts, opportunities, talents, mindsets, whatever. That's because you haven't allowed yourself to develop and to let those skills generate and mature and develop and come out and be like, whoa, I can do this. You're too busy going, I can't do that. You're too busy comparing yourself. Don't compare yourself to other people. Make that a habit this year. Don't do it. Don't care what other people are doing. Worry about your own road and your own story, please. Because it will make things a lot easier. And so I compiled a short list, as I was thinking about this podcast, and I was thinking about what I wanted to share with you guys this week, which we're coming back to our regular podcast schedule where we're doing it weekly. I know things have been kind of finicky since I went to New York, but we're back. It's a new year's new start. It's back to that consistency that you guys all know and love. And if you guys are like, what inconsistency? Well, thank you. I appreciate it. But I created a small list of things that, as I reflected, and I did reflect on 2021, a short list of things that I would take away from 2021 as a positive, not a negative, as a positive to move forward into making 2022 better. And I'm going to share those with you on this podcast. This podcast. The first one is that ideas are good, but actions are what count. You can have all the right ideas in mind. You can have all the right things in mind, but if you don't take actions to achieve them, if you don't take actions to make them realities, it doesn't mean anything. It's just like if you're in a relationship, if you have all the right ideas and all the feelings inside about your significant other, but you don't convey that to them where they understand it, it's null and void. You can love somebody, but the other person can feel like you don't love them. And I just encourage, that's a very dangerous pitfall to assume that person understands without you effectively and explicitly communicating with them or conveying that what you feel or you think. And people, in terms of goals and dreams in 2022, people have a lot of ideas in mind, but they get overwhelmed with the how. How am I going to do it? They want to have everything figured out. And like I said before, there's no perfect time to take that first step than right now. You don't have to have everything figured out, but if you dare to take that step, if you're starting to work towards things, and you'll find areas where you need to improve on. You'll find areas where you need to reach out for other helps. You'll find yourself rising to a new level where you didn't think you could do that, but you did it. And let me just tell you this: if your argument of taking your first step is fear of failure, let me tell you, failure is not a bad thing. You shouldn't fear failure. Failure is opportunity. It's all what you have in mind. It's how you perceive things. It's your mindset. Failure provides opportunities of what you need to do better to succeed. There's this weird phobia and false notion about failure and all that stuff, but failure is a good learning tool. So if you fail, so what? I mean, I fall on my face all the time. But I don't just stay there. I don't just lay on the dirt and go, oh, woe's me. I brush myself off. I dust myself off, and I keep moving like nothing ever happened. And so the first step is often the hardest. And the second hardest thing is to stay committed to consistency and making small strides daily to your goal. And when you don't, and see, that's the thing. It's good to have the ideas. It's good to take the initial action. But it's those who stay consistent that are going to make it to the final destination. You know how many times people say, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to work out this year. And they start up a brand new gym membership right at the beginning of the year. But then towards 2 months into it, maybe a week into it, then they they're making excuses and they don't use the gym membership and they're paying for a gym membership that they don't even use anymore. There's a lot of that. And not just about going to the gym. It's any kind of dream, whether it's learning a language like, I've done or anything like that. It's that commitment to stay consistent, to make sure you work towards it no matter how insignificant amount of time that you're working dedicated to it each day. That's going to get you to the destination. That's going to carry you over to where you want to be. And so just stay committed. Like I'm gonna release some YouTube videos about staying on track, staying committed, and stuff like that, and how I do it. But writing down your goals every day is a good way. Writing down your daily purpose with the daily organizer that I talked about before, that's a good way. So there's tools out there, and I'm hopefully providing great tools for you that you can use, and I encourage you to use them. They're free. Point number 2 of things I've learned in 2021 is procrastination is a bitch. And sometimes I was like, hey, should I include that in the title? Should that be the title for this point? And I said, yeah, because you know why? I'm the king of procrastination. I've procrastinated so much in my life, it's not even funny. School, professionally, and I should have a PhD in procrastination, actually. But procrastination is nothing more than a waste of time. Procrastinating may seem like a relief to things we don't really want to do, but it just delays it, just kicks it down the road. And, there are things we have to do on a daily basis that we don't want to do. There's things at work we don't want to do. There's things at home we don't often want to do. It's not like I wake up every morning going, woo, let's do laundry. I don't, laundry's fine. It's not my favorite thing to do in the world. But, we have to do it. But if you can avoid putting things off and delaying and just taking care of them as they come up, you find you'll have more time. Remember, I talked about being like an accountant with your time. And you'll find if you stop procrastinating, putting things off and deal with them in an efficient manner, you'll create, it'll be magical, I know, but you'll create more time in your life, in your day. That leads to point number 3 about time management. There's no luck. It's not like, oh, he got a lucky break today. Well, one, what are you doing looking at that person? Snap out of it and stop comparing. And realize we're all given 24 hours in a day. Every day. No matter what your income is, no matter what your profession is, no matter what your social class status is, you have the same 24 hours in the same day as I do. And it's how we use those 24 hours that makes a difference. Are you spending some of that time just goofing off? Or are you spending that time seriously pursuing and laying down the foundation to make your dreams reality? Now, when I say that, you don't have to spend 10 hours working towards your goal. Even 5 minutes makes a stride towards your goal. You don't have to be too extreme. Don't be extreme. Don't spread yourself too thin. I've always spread myself too thin. It's not fun, believe me. Because when you spread yourself too thin, you take on too many things, you become a jack of all trades, a master of none. And I'm just telling you, you don't want to do that. You don't want to be that way. You want to be sticking to the things that are most important preferably a finite number of them, and go over the most important to you and stick with them, and not let things, that's the key, not let things delay you or distract you from what you want to do. Or procrastination. Don't fall into procrastination because you're on your road to your dream and there's something you want to do. You're like, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it later. I'll do blah, blah, blah. Like for the real estate stuff, I would have to take an exam. I'm not going to put off studying and doing the exam because I don't like taking exams, But I am going to do everything in a timely and an efficient manner to make it worth the while. So don't waste time. Instead, create more time. Cut out all the BS, all the stuff you're spending time on. If it's like you need to cut out, you're spending 10 hours on TikTok, I'd recommend that. Because I'll find that, and I've always worked with people, and I've searched YouTube about people, how they get so much done in the day. It's because they know how to budget and manage their time. I'm telling you, one skill, if I could learn it earlier than I did now, it would be to that skill of time management, that effective time management skill, not wasting all the time on my iPad, watching YouTube videos, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. It'd be to manage my time in an efficient, timely manner that I can control my day. Because when you control your time, you control a lot of things. When you allow other people and other entities to control your time, you feel like you have no control. You don't feel like you have any control. And that is the worst, let me tell you. That is the worst position to be in, where you feel like you have no control of your life. You feel like your life is controlled by other people. You feel like you have to do things not because you want to, because you're obligated to do so. Let's get you freed from that. Let's put you back in the control cockpit of your life. Are you with me? That's what I think. And point number 4 of things the big takeaway for me for 2021 is life is short and there's no do-overs. And people are like, duh. This really hit home for me because, yeah, I know time's important, time's precious. But through the passing of my father, and I've said it before, and again, I don't say it for people to take pity on me or whatever, but it's true. And I'm just going to be honest how I feel. And I feel like that left a big hole in my life. And, as you go through life, you develop this idea, these notions, these feelings, these ideas about what life is and the importance of life and the values of life, and how even how you see life, the lens you look through. And through this tragedy, it just showed me how fragile and important life is. Time is. Because we have today, tomorrow's not necessarily guaranteed. In fact, tomorrow is not guaranteed at all. So as I was thinking about this point, as I preparing this podcast, I thought about if my life were to end today, let's just say, I'm hoping to live a longer. I'm hoping to live a long, fruitful life. But if it was to end today, what would I want? Who would I want around me, and what would I want to tell them? I thought I'd had more time with my dad, and if I knew somehow that, he was going to be taken from me, I guess the thing I would have changed is I would have wanted to spend more time with him. But then I thought, why would I want that? Knowing that he was going to be taken away, why would I want that more and appreciate that more now while he was alive? And so my takeaway for this is, like, we all have people in our lives. We all have things in our lives we want to do. So why not allow ourselves to do that? Why don't we spend the time doing that? Why don't we, instead of wishing we would have done something, why don't we ensure that we do it? So I'm going to ask you, if your life was to end right now, would there be any regret? Would there be anything you would have wished you would have conveyed to a loved one or a family or a friend? And if so, why not convey that now? Why not appreciate the fact that they call you, and instead of being annoyed that mom or dad or your loved one called you 20 times a day, be appreciative that they call you 20 times a day, that they can call you. Why not take 2022 and decide to take each day as if it's your last. Live life to its fullest and as if it's your last. And so when it's your time to go, which I hope is never anytime soon or ever, if it was up to me, that there's no regrets. Because when I leave this world, which I don't plan to, again, I don't plan to do that in a very long time, leave any regrets, to feel regret. I just want to be at peace, knowing that I accomplished what I wanted to accomplish. I did what I wanted to do, and then the people that I wanted to convey, spend time with, appreciate, love, understand that unequivocally. And, that sounds very idealistic, but it's possible if you put in the work. Anything's mostly within reason possible if you're willing to put in the week, and if you're to put in the work during the week. How about that? To make it happen, to make it a reality. And so, like I said, with my dad going away, it's changed my perspective. And again, I'll ask you the same question: is like, if today was your last day, what would you want to tell your loved ones? What would you want to make sure you accomplish and stuff like that? And why not live that way right now? Why does there have to be the end of the tunnel to start thinking, being less procrastinated, managing our time, and taking action to get our butts in the gear? Let's appreciate the time we do have. Let's not worry about what we don't have, what other people have. Let's take the time to make an action plan for 2022 that allows us to truly focus on ourselves, and will allow us to live in a manner in which we are productive. We wake up every morning with a purpose, and we don't just waste our days, take for granted our days, because again, tomorrow is not guaranteed. We have today, but tomorrow's not guaranteed. And so I just hope that maybe through this and just getting this idea is a great time to do it. And even if you're listening to this mid 2022 or whenever you're listening to this, take 2022, the number out there, and put today's date, if you will. You don't have to start always on New Year's. You don't have to start at the first of the year. You can start any time. But just make sure you're not always just starting over, because every time you start over, it costs you time, it costs you money. So let's just make that conscious decision. Let's plant that seed right now that this year is going to be a good year. Despite all the terrible crap going on in the world, the news and stuff like that, we're going to control and focus on us and what we can control. And I think if we do that, we're going to be in good shape. And I would very encourage and very much like to hear all the things that you plan to do this year. What are your New Year's resolutions? If you're watching this on YouTube, put them in the comments. If you are listening via Spotify and you want to chime in, give your input, give your take, please reach out. I love to hear from your feedback, what your point of view is, because it's not just about me and what I have to say, it's also about you. You can reach us out anytime online at Grande.com, and you can click email doc and I'll get your email. They go directly to me. I have no one reading them for me, but I think I'd very much love to know what you guys are thinking, what you guys are New Year's resolution hoping to accomplish, and maybe try to create resources that will keep you motivated and moving in the right direction. Okay, guys. Well, I appreciate whether you're for listening, and getting these ideas out to you. Be on the lookout for YouTube. We're going to be hitting YouTube hard this year, and I'm excited to see what this year brings for us, the community, and you guys. All right, guys, I will see you next week because we're going to stick back to our consistent streaming schedule. And, guys, I love you, and I'll see you next time.